Hello everybody and welcome back to the Non-Powered Gamers channel. It's certainly been a while. Right now, me and Dill are still kind of being separated because of the virus. Things are starting to look up in the US a little bit, I guess. I mean, we still got a lot of cases floating around, but restaurants and things like that are starting to reopen, so hopefully hopefully by the time 9th edition comes around, we can get to filming more bat reps for you. However, we didn't really lose that many subscribers, and we've actually gained a couple. Not as much as we would have liked, obviously, but we haven't been putting much stuff out, so we can't really complain. So thank you all for sticking around to watch. And I thought I would upload a video today. It's something that I've kind of wanted to talk about for a little while, and that is starting Genestealer cults. I just never really got around to filming a video, so I figured, hey, we haven't put anything out in a while, so might as well talk about this, right? And now, just before we get into it, the reason I wanted to make this was because I feel like Genestealer cults is kind of a scary army to get into. It's certainly my favorite army. It's the army what got me back into Warhammer. But it could be a bit daunting just because there's such an expensive army. I would argue that Genestealer cult's probably the most expensive army to start, just because their basic troops, you're going to need a lot of them, and they're priced a little bit above most of what the other armies have in terms of troops. I believe 5 intercessors for a combat squad of intercessors is $30, while 5 acolytes are $40. At least here in the United States. It could differ based on what country you're in. But acolytes are still more expensive, and you're going to need more of them, a lot of them actually. So hopefully this video, some people who are looking to start, or maybe people who have played Warhammer and they want to start Genestealer cults but they don't really know how, maybe they can find this video and they'll find it helpful. So we'll just get right into it. I've come up with 3 easy ways. I've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, so I made 3 different routes, as I'm going to refer to them as 3 different routes of ways you can get into Genestealer cults, because the range isn't that big, but there are definitely some models that you're definitely going to want to start, and I think these 3 are good ways to kind of give you a basis of something to have and then expand on. Now, just a warning, I have 3 here. 2 of them are going to require box sets that are no longer in circulation. They are box sets, I'll just say right now, it's Deathwatch, Overkill, and Tooth and Claw. Those are 2 box sets that were put out by Games Workshop a long time ago. They don't make them anymore, but they're not that hard to find. I go into local gaming stores, and I see them fairly often on the shelf. So if you can nab them, they'd be a good way to start. But if you cannot find them, the 3rd route here it revolves around the start collectings. So it's going to be only models that GW puts out, so you don't have to worry there. So yeah, so let's just get right into it. And what I mean by this is these are models that, hopefully these 3 you'll get a good collection. And when I say routes, I kind of mean where you want to start, because you don't really want to buy everything right away. You kind of want to trickle in, especially with Genestealer cults, because you could get very easily overwhelmed. The models take a pretty long time to paint. They're very detailed, and you're going to be doing a lot of them. So try to trickle it in there. And each of these will get you to around 1,000 points in the current edition. I don't know what it's going to be in 9th edition. So let's just say that we're starting a good collection here, and hopefully you can expand from there. So anyways, we'll get right into it. Route number 1 is what I call the Deathwatch Overkill route. The box set is right here to my left if you want to know what it looks like. And maybe I'll put a graphic up if I'm not feeling too lazy. This is, in my opinion, the best way to start. It's kind of how I started when I started playing Genestealer cult, just because I think it was $120 off the shelves when it was new, and it gives you so much. It comes with a game, first of all, which is kind of like Space Hulk. It's basically Warhammer, but it's like a little dumbed down. Like, the rules aren't as in depth, but it's actually a lot of fun. And if you have a friend to play with, I recommend playing with it. And if you don't have a friend to play with, or you're not interested in the game at all, then you still have a bunch of Deathwatch models and a bunch of Genestealer cult models. Because you're here for the Genestealer cult, I'll tell you right now, I think it comes with, this is off the top of my head, I think it comes with 16 Neophytes, 12 Acolytes, the Brood Coven, which is a Patriarch, a Primus, and a Magus, along with 2 Familiars and 4 Aberrants. Now, for $120, I believe the Genestealer cult side by itself is already $120, which is why I think this is probably the best way to start if you can get your hands on it. However, I'll say right now that the acolytes and the neophytes, they're kind of snap fit, so you can't really give them weapon options. So you're not going to be giving saws or anything to the acolytes, but the neophytes do come with mining lasers and grenade launchers, which is nice. So yeah, so we're going to start with that. It'll give you a very, very good starting point, along with the 3 characters that I think are the most important to have if you're starting any collection. Like if you're going to take away anything from this video, my advice is start with the Patriarch, Primus, and Magus. They're just so important, and they're basically the core of any pure Genestealer cult army. So yeah, so we're going to start with Deathwatch Overkill, and then from there we're going to get the Genestealer cult start collecting. That'll give you even more troops, more acolytes. It'll give you some of the weapon options that you won't have in the Deathwatch Overkill box set. So you will get the saws, more mining weapons, and stuff like that. It's not interchangeable, so you can't put the saws from or onto the acolytes. At least you can't kind of interchange them because they are snap fit. But they'll be nice to have, and it'll put you at 20 neophytes, 17 acolytes, which is essentially 3 squads. And you'll have a Ridge Runner as well as the Acolyte Icon Ward. Now, I find that the Acolyte Icon Ward, he's not the most necessary character. I ran my army for a long time without one, but he's pretty good. When I did finally get one, I gotta say he's a very solid HQ option, and he provides very good support. So he's nice to have there. So yeah, so Deathwatch Overkill, start with that. Then you move into the Start Collecting box, which will kind of just buff your forces. And then after that, I have listed to buy an Aberrant box. And the reason for that is you can kind of buy whatever you want. Aberrant's interchangeable, but the reason I suggest Aberrants is because if you add 5 more, you can complete that squad of 4. Because it comes with 4 because back in the day, back in 7th edition, and actually 8th edition for a while, Aberrants came in squads of 4, not 5. But they did change that, so now you need a squad of 5. So might as well buy some Aberrants to kind of complete that squad, right? And that's it. That's it for that route. That's going to be 3 boxes. Deathwatch Overkill, Genestealer Cult Start Collecting, and an Aberrant box to finish off your Aberrants. And that'll be around $255, and that will get you around 1,000 points. I think this is, personally, I think this is the best way to start. Simply because it gives you the most substance, you know. It's the beefiest, and it kind of gives you the meat of a Genestealer cult army, and that is lots of troops. This one will have the most troops in it, certainly. And then again, the 3 characters is great, and then you have some Aberrants for backup, and you even have a Ridge Runner in there, just, you know, just to play with. They do look cool, and they're just nice to have. So this would probably be my favorite way to do it. This is kind of how I started. As you can tell, I have the box right here. Oh, as I say that, it's fallen on me. Maybe I'll just remove that for now. It didn't seem to want to stay before the video, and it seemed to attack me during it. That's so funny. As soon as I reference it, it finally falls over. Yeah, so Deathwatch Overkill is my favorite, just because it gives you the troops, and that's what you're gonna want in a Genestealer cult list. Even if you go mechanized, like even if you want to run a ton of bikes or a ton of rock grinders, troops will always be at the core of a Genestealer cult list, and this gives you a very good core to do that. So that's pretty much it. We'll just go right into the next one. That is going to be the Tooth and Claw route. Tooth and Claw was a Vigilus book, I want to say. So it's a little old. You're not gonna you're gonna get this for the models. You're not really gonna care about what comes in it, unless you want to, of course, read the lore, which is always fun. But yeah, so Tooth and Claw is another box set that includes Space Wolves versus Genestealer Cult, and I believe that, I don't know specifically, but I don't think the Space Wolves are specifically Space Wolves. I think they're just Primaris, so you can kind of make them whoever you want, but I think it has a Space Wolves character. I don't know specifically about the Space Wolf part. We're just here for the Genestealer card, right? So we'll get right into it. Tooth and Claw comes with the Abominant, 5 Aberrants. I'm doing this all from memory, so if I miss something, I sincerely apologize, and check what I'm saying. But from memory, I believe it comes with an Abominant, 5 Aberrants, 5 Metamorphs or Acolytes, and 8 Genestealers, I think. This is kind of a more elite-heavy start to collecting Genestealer cults. The Abominant is a lot of fun. Aberrants are a lot of fun. How good they are, questionable, but they're still fun. And remember, we're not really too worried about competitiveness right now. We're just trying to get a good start. So that's a good start. The thing that I guess kind of the weak point of this box set is the Genestealers, just because pure strain Genestealers right now aren't great. They don't really take advantage of what the cult has to offer, and Tyranid Genestealers are better in every way. But again, if you don't have Tyranids, that's not really an option. But if you have Tyranids, Tyranids or Guard, I guess you could more easily start Genestealer Cult without having to worry. But yeah, so Tooth and Claw, start with that, get a good amount of elites, and then go into a start collecting. Another $95, so you can get the Icon Ward, another HQ unit, 5 more Metamorphs, sorry, 5 more Acolytes or Metamorphs, they're interchangeable, and then a Neophyte squad. And then another Ridge Runner. It's funny because I didn't really account for the Ridge Runner in this, but I guess he just kind of gets a tag along in each of these lists. And then after that, I would 100% suggest the Brood Coven. Maybe even get the Brood Coven before the start collecting, because like I said, the HQs in the Brood Coven are just, to me, they're invaluable. They're the heart of every Genestealer Cult army, and you're gonna need them. Yeah, you're gonna need them. Like, that's what I'm gonna say. Like, you're gonna get them one way or another, so you might as well start early with them, just so you can get a feel for what they do and how they play. Now, in this route, it's pretty HQ heavy, because you're gonna have 5 HQs. You're gonna have the Abominant, the Icon Ward, and then the whole Brood Coven. So the Primus, the Patriarch, and the Magus. So basically, you're gonna have every HQ except for the Jackal Alphas. And you won't really have enough troops to sustain that. So for your first few games, you might have to be sitting someone out. You'll have 3, so you'll have enough for a battalion. So you can fit 3 in there, but maybe the Abominant or someone's going to have to be sitting out until you can get more troops to supply your HQs. But I still think it's a good route. I think of the 3 that I made, this is my least favorite, just because Tooth and Claw is not the best. Like, it's not easy to find, and it's, like I said, this is more elite focus, and you really do want troops on it. But this is an option. If you can find Tooth and Claw, great. It's still a great deal. It's not as good of a deal as Deathwatch Overkill. But this route is also cheaper than the start collecting route. So there's that. It's still fine. It still gives you good stuff, but I'd say that it's less of a complete army than if you were to focus mostly on attaining troops. So if you do choose to go this way, then I'd say to get to your other 1,000 points, so you can try to get to 2,000, I would say focus mainly on filling out those troop slots to make it work. And yeah, so that's Tooth and Claw. That puts you at $305. Just a reminder, the Deathwatch Overkill route, the final total is $255, not accounting for tax or anything like that. So it's a little bit more expensive, but I will say right now it is cheaper than the start collecting route, which I'll get into right now. The start collecting route is based around models that are readily available. So we're going to start with 2 start collectings, because it is a very good deal. I believe it's $90 or $95, and an Acolyte squad and a Neophyte squad are both $40, so that's already $80. The Icon Ward is $25, so that'll put you at, I think, $105. It's already worth it. And then the Ridge Runner, I believe, is also $40, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's 40. Check my math, everyone. So it's already a good deal. My one complaint, I believe I said it earlier, is that the Icon Ward is a little redundant when it comes to the start collectings, because you really don't need more than one of him. So when you buy more than one start collecting, you just kind of have an excess of Icon Wards that you don't really need. But I mean, you could always sell him or trade him or give him to a friend, because you're a nice person. And if you're watching this, I know you're a nice person, so thank you. So yeah, so we're going to start with 2 start collectings. That'll put us in a good space with troops. So you'll have 10 Acolytes, 20 Neophytes, the Icon Ward, which is nice, and then 2 Ridge Runners, which, is cool. And then from there, I would say go Brood Coven again. Brood Coven it's not a great set. It's pretty pricey. I think it's $60 for 3 characters, but you need it. And I don't think there's really a way for you to get the Primus or the Patriarch by themselves. I think they have to come in Brood Coven, because I know there's a female Magus model that you can buy on its own, but the Primus and the Patriarch, I don't think there's ways of getting them outside of Deathwatch Overkill or Brood Coven. Or if you want to use a Broodlord model as a Patriarch model, I guess you could always do that too. But Brood Coven is essential, so definitely go for that. And then after that, so we got good troops, and you have your HQs. From there, this one's kind of up to you. I went with Adelan Jackals for this list, I guess, just because um, since we're going with the start collectings, we're going to have 2 Ridge Runners. Those are both fast attacks, so I figure you might as well go with the Adelan Jackals to kind of give you another fast attack slot. Then you can maybe branch out into a I think it's an Outrider detachment, and just kind of go with the theme with the two Ridge Runners. Sorry, go with the theme of 2 Ridge Runners and continue like in that way. So maybe you could start with more bikes, fill in some Rock Grinders, go vehicle heavy. Again, this is really just a suggestion. I think the 2-star collectings and the Brood Coven are the most important part. Adelan Jackals are just to kind of go with the theme of the 2 Ridge Runners you have, kind of, give it a little spice and flavor. Maybe not the best options, but I think it's a lot of fun. And then from there, we still have a little bit more to spare. So I just put in some Aberrants there again, just because Aberrants are one of my favorite models. I think they're definitely the premier Genestealer Cult elite unit. They're a little pricey right now. I'm a little sad about what happened to them in the last chapter approved. However, I think Aberrants are cool. Their models are great, and they kind of break up. They kind of break up the minor thing with the rest of the Genestealer Cult, because the Acolytes and the Neophytes, all of them have mining gear. They're all carrying mining weaponry and wear miner suits, but the Aberrants are just these horrible, terrible alien abominations that just come from the sewers and beat you to death with stop signs. And if that's not incredible, I don't know what is. So yeah, so those are the 3 routes. Hopefully I gave you guys some starting points. Again, you don't have to follow these to a T. If you see something that you'd rather do, then by all means go for it. Like, for example, if you manage to get Deathwatch Overkill, but you want to go with Rock Grinders, then that's totally fine. Do that as well. I guess I'll give some general tips. So the general tips, again, number 1, definitely get Brood Coven when you can, as soon as you can, because you don't really want to be playing a cult army without those 3 characters. And I would say also, don't be afraid to, again, let it trickle. Don't feel the need to take everything on at once, because it can get overwhelming, especially with such detailed models. It's not like they're quick to paint or anything. Even 5 could take you quite a while. I love painting them, so it's not a big issue to me, just because I just love how cool they look, and the final result always just looks so good to me. And yeah, and then I think for my last bit of advice is, if you're scared, I would just say don't be, because it is going to be a big money sink, but I think that if people can get a pure, like, all painted Genestealer Cult army, it is very rewarding. It looks very good. They play very uniquely. Maybe not how everyone wants to play, but they're just a ton of fun, and I just love the models. So, and if you're watching this, then chances are you're already interested in Genestealer Cult. So what I'm saying to you is, if you're getting discouraged, then don't, because it's a fun army, very rewarding, and just over a ton of fun. And don't hold back. Just go for it. Just go for it is what I'd say. And that's pretty much all I have to say about Genestealer Cults, or how to start them, at least. I try to do it in the cheapest way possible, because obviously this is an expensive hobby, and this is one of the more expensive armies. I think for the prices I listed, you could even make 2,000 point armies from some of the other ones. But them's the breaks when you have such great models, am I right? So yeah, so that's going to conclude the video for today. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you want more kind of hobby videos like this, let me know in the comments, because I wouldn't be opposed to them for sure. It's not really my thing, I kind of just do the bat red stuff, but I like talking about stuff like this. So again, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and we'll see you next time.